A wonderful morning starts with integrity. The integrity starts with you.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
If you are an avid listener of Splash 106.7 FM, then I'm certain that you know what we're about to embark on at this time. It's 3 minutes past 8 this Monday morning, the 8th day in the 8th month of the year 2022. Welcome to Panorama this morning. And if you're joining us for the first time, Panorama is our flagship news and current affairs program on this dial, the Integrity Station, where we try to dissect certain issues as it concerns us. And the first segment of the show is tagged Issue of the Day, and that's why you hear a lot of issues, even in our introduction. And the second part is From the Pages, which is where we take a look at the pages of the newspapers. We try to do that with the help of an analyst who assists us in getting to make some sense of some of these stories. But first, my name is Buyega Olaniyi. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Great to be here once again this brand new week in August. My name is Lola Neduteni. Thank you for joining us.
We're glad that you are there at the other end of the radio. And between now and 9 a.m. or just before 9, we would have a particular issue before us, which we will be looking at this morning. But just to let you know in advance that we're streaming live on Facebook at the moment, all you have to do is go to www.facebook.com/Splash FM 1067 Abeokuta. You find us there streaming live, and at any point during the conversation, you can drop a comment or a question, whatever it is. And on WhatsApp as well, 0817-555-1067. You can also drop a comment during the conversation or a question. Also, Twitter is also available at Splash FM 1067. We should be on Twitter Space in a matter of minutes so that you can also join the conversation there. These are several channels through which has been made available for you to ventilate, and let us have your thoughts on the program this morning. But let's get straight to our issue of the day this morning. Bad blood between an incumbent and his predecessor are hardly a novelty in state politics, as recently seen in what played out in Ogun State between Governor Dele Ayodo, erstwhile Chief of Staff to the administration of past Governor and present Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola. Some opines that the fallout between the two contributed to some degree to Governor Oyetola's loss at the polls in July. Nevertheless, despite being rather commonplace, the frosty relationship between Governor Dapo Abiodun and Senator Ibikunle Amosun is a peculiar one in light of what played out leading up to the 2019 gubernatorial polls in Ogun State.
For a refresher, here is what happened in summary. At the conclusion of his 8-year stint as governor, then Governor Ibikunle Amosun of the APC had first tried to impose his candidate, Adekunle Akinlade, as his successor and winner of the party's governorship primary. However, that failed, leading to the exit of Mr. Akinlade to form the Allied People's Movement, APM, with the backing of the then APC governor as a governorship candidate against Mr. Abiodun, the APC's chosen flag bearer. Evidently, Prince Dapo Abiodun won the election by a margin of 19,517 votes, and all was once again relatively peaceful, if not entirely harmonious.
In anticipation of another journey to the polls next year, Senator Ibikunle Amosun has again rocked the boat. Over the weekend, he was quoted as saying, and I quote, "Just wait. Very soon you will hear where we are going next. Clearly, you know my stand, and my stand is my stand. I am not supporting this administration that is there now. It must be removed. Although no names were mentioned, it is not a cryptic remark."
As a rejoinder, the publicity secretary of the APC in Ogun State, Tunde Oladunjoye, accused the former governor of obviously still sulking from the electoral defeat of his surrogate party in 2019 and suffering from political amnesia and out-of-office loneliness, and joining the Ogun people to pray for him. For our issue of the day, let us take a look at the face-off started up again between incumbent and predecessor, and what that will mean for the coming election and the people of Ogun State.
And we have joining us for this conversation someone who knows the in and out, if we can put it that way, of Ogun politics, as he's been an observer and an observer majorly for a very, very long time. Veteran journalist, broadcaster Dele Ayodo joins us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Lola. Good morning, Wega. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Ogun. I'm not sure if for observer, Wega, it's right.
It's participants, right?
Not direct, because I've never been a member of anybody. As a reporter,
Okay.
I've watched and reported at a very close range.
I guess observer still somewhat captures.
Okay. For the purpose,
I didn't
of
want
the
to use
discussion.
participant because I know you've not,
No, I'm not. I've never been.
Yes.
So that anybody won't. Any political party, I've never been.
So let's start the conversation by looking at, maybe for those that were not in the States, in the build-up to the 2019 election, let's do just a brief recap. For you who was a reporter and, saw all of these things happen.
Okay. I'll try as typical of me. I don't know how to avoid stepping on toes, but the truth, I think the last time I came here, it was an argument whether the truth can be amended or reshaped. But I know my ground was that sometimes you need to weigh the consequence of what the truth will do. So I've weighed that, and I'll try and go along that line. First, let me lay this background. It's also important. I've said I've never been a member of any political party. But for over 12 years, straight 12 years, I've been a reporter. I'm a stakeholder because I'm an indigene, I'm a citizen, I'm a resident. So I'm a stakeholder. So I've been formally and officially involved in the politics, governance of Ogun State for this last straight 12 years. And of course, since 1999, I've been in and out as a reporter here in Ogun State. So, and I've also had formal interaction apart from this current governor. There's no governor who have ruled this state since 1999 that I have not had a one-on-one with for more than once. So from this premise, I can say I saw and I understand, I deduced and can interpret a lot of political things. Again, it is also important to add that whatever you call it is not new in Nigerian politics. It's not new, it's not strange. It happened between Amechi and Wike. Wike succeeded Amechi. It happened between Kwankwaso and Shekau. It happened between the same Kwankwaso, so 3 straight governors in Kano State and Ganduje. It happened in Zamfara. Of course, it happened in Imo. It happened in Anambra and so many other states where the two who just handed baton to each other decided to be cat and mouse. So it's not new. So come down to my state, to Ogun State, the history. Of course, Amosun was governor here for 8 straight years, 2011 to 2019. 2011, he contested under the Action Congress of Nigeria and defeated Boyega Nasiru Isaka, among others. I mentioned Boyega Nasiru Isaka because he was, Tunji Oluni was the one who came second at that election in 2011. 2019, he defeated, 2015, he defeated Boyega Nasiru Isaka. At that time, it was the APC as a political party that he fielded. Then, expectedly, he became, at that time, the most important politician in the state. at that time, of course, the power of the incumbent, and then it was about after Gbenga Daniel, who was the first and the longest-serving governor. Then Amosun became the second longest-serving governor in the state. So naturally, one would expect, like all of them do, across the 36 states and the federation, and somebody would say, except Muhammadu Buhari, who did not show direct interest in who will succeed him. All of them always do show direct interest. So Amosun was interested in who will succeed him. Gwega, it was very interesting in this state. I remember that between October 2nd, which was the first day the primary will have held, and the last day when INEC closes its shop, or about 5 weeks to the election, when Amosun and his people moved to APM, almost every name, the only name that was not mentioned in this state as preferred choice of the governor was Dele Ayodo. Almost every name was mentioned. And the name of the candidates changed every hour. Believe it, every hour. So at a point in time, you don't know who to believe. You don't know what to believe. The name will change. The 10 o'clock, the report will be, they have picked Boyega Olanio as a candidate. By 11, you don't know, it's no longer Boyega, it's Lolami Teni that has been picked. So it went on and on and on and on. I also remember that Amosun, publicly, in the public knowledge, said he visited to ensure that his candidate won. How did it started? The story, like I said, so Amosun was interested. There was a man who was at the forefront initially, a senator representing Lagos West, was at the forefront, and then the issue of, in fact, that's why I had my first major disagreement, and we became enemy until he left office, myself and governor, because we had formal relationships regularly. Because I had this long interview with that senator that was broadcast, and then the interview became an albatross to the government. So it became an issue, and then the government decided and looked at me. I remember I met Amosun on an occasion, and as soon as I saw him, I said, Dele, you have brought incoming to the state, you now have an incoming. Amosun has that style. He's fighting you, but he won't show it straight, except you are in his political camp. In his political camp, somebody said he has the sharpest tongue out of all the governors that have ever been. Very toxic tongue. One of his very close allies for his political. But if you are not, he will just smile. He does not, like the other governors, pounce on you, but he's fighting you. He's definitely fighting. So he did that with me a lot. I have a lot of references. I can prepare that over. So that became an issue. Eventually, they got the man to run back to Lagos. Then name of candidates began and all those. At that time, the story was that the incumbent Prince Dapo Abiodun wanted to be a senator. And they called Amosun. They were all very close friends, the three. Gbenga Daniel, report says, Amosun and Dapo Abiodun. I have a lot of people who are very, very close. In fact, I don't want to, who are like 2 and 4 or 5 and 6 with Amosun and all these people, who said to me, when they are seated in Amosun's house, White House, Dapo Abiodun is the only one just walking straight to either the sitting room or to the bedroom with Amosun, and they will be there, talk for number of times before the council. They were very close friends before then. And then that Dapo went to governor, the current, at that time, okay, permit me please, with due respect, at that time, Prince Dapo went to see his friend to inform him that he wanted to be a senator. But the story was that the governor then did not want Dapo Abiodun. He wanted his friend, who eventually became the senator, to be the candidate of Ogun East. And then that was Prince Dapo began to lobby external forces, the powerful people in the party. It was there, they now said to him, well, who said you cannot be governor? Right, senator. And of course, the man changed his mind and became governor. Those are stories that cannot be. The ones we can refer to, I mentioned October 2nd. That was the day the APC primaries was to be held. I was a reporter, I monitored that. I can say the primaries was cancelled for about 3 times. It was shifted. They came with a lot of reasons. Some say it was political game, but I know the primaries was shifted about 4 times. And I remember that one of the day on a Sunday, where it finally broke, I dare say it, was that the Amosun's temperament. They know that he won't have that patience, so he was actually prepared for those primaries. And I dare say this, anybody can come out. If Amosun had been patient enough and that primaries was held, according to nobody would have beaten Amosun's candidate. Nobody would have beaten, Dakwabedu wouldn't have beaten Amosun's candidate. That's the truth in this state. But because Amosun played, he fell for the banana peel that was laid for him. So he was frustrated and went to have a primary of his own. He conducted the primary. It doesn't work out anywhere, Lola. I want to sit for WAEC because WAEC has shifted the date for English 3 times. I got frustrated. You set your own question and you answered it and announced the result. At that time, it was the secretary to the state government who was not a member of any of the party's organ, except in the state, who announced the result of a primary election. Amen. That's an abysmal position. It's never happened. So nobody will have said. And the party at the national level, headed by the then Adams Oshomale, so they say, like I said, I'll try and differentiate the ones I can lay reference to and the ones that are just stories, cashed on that. And then the story, the katakata busted. It became messy. Yes, some people also say, I was also there at Mitros Hall a night before the governorship primaries. So, where, as an individual, and a lot of people have also agreed with me, the then governor did not handle the situation very well. What was happening? I say this, a lot of my colleagues are there who are reporters. Gbenga Ige will be in the hall, and the party will have said, okay, Gbenga Oladiye is the candidate of the party for Abeokuta West State constituency. And Mr. Governor will come out to announce to reporters, Lola Meduteni has been picked as the candidate for Abeokuta West. And nobody will be able to say that it's Lola Meduteni that will go, not the one picked by the party. So he began to have enemies. So a lot of people who were Hidado, his supporters and backers began to pull away. So, and he saw it. That political fighter give that to him. I can confirm that with the issues that started between him and SDP before his emergence as the party's candidate. He was not supposed to be the party's candidate in 2011. He was coming from AMPP on that occasion. And the APCSN already had candidates. And the decision was that it was going to be Yewa candidate. The likes of Mbakare, was this person, I forgot the name of the woman we call Cash Madam, Abiodun Akinlade, my umbrella, were the ones at the forefront of the party, but Amosun came and picked the ticket in 2011. As soon as that government, the then governor, Segun Shoba, did not want Amosun openly and fiercely. He did not want Amosun. And that was carried on when Amosun became government. Amosun told me a lot of stories about this. We can't finish that, of the plan, how they dig the plot for him to fail, how he would have been impeached, and all those things. He survived all those things. He survived and was able to edge out. But some people will say he drove out the Oshoba camp from the then APC, the party they formed, and he drove them into another party. They picked the SDP. But so Amosun is a confirmed political fighter. There's no doubt he's very dogged about it. So he thought with the power of the governor, he would be able to. So he went to APM. And on that occasion, it was sure he refused to leave APC, his senatorial ticket held. But he was openly, flagrantly campaigning for another candidate and another party. Who else would have done that without getting the wrath? At the MKO Stadium, when President Muhammadu Buhari came, what do I call that scene? That was about the most Machiavellic show in politics here in the state. It was an APC show. And then it was the president campaign period. And before you know it, it was APM who took over the show. There were two parallel party executives. It was the one, the APM, who were directing everything. For those who remember who were there, that's what brought that famous submission. It was a fact. Amosun, it was Amosun's wife. Anybody can still play the picture. It was, maybe he wouldn't. Amosun was about physically pouncing on Adam Osomale and the Aregbeshala, physically pouncing on them. It was the wife who drew his agbada and called him to order because Amosun did not want that party flag to go to Dapo Abiodun. He was very furious. Everybody was in yellow, no matter the yellow you wore. In Abeokuta that day, you will still be telling the story of what happened. They were thoroughly and seriously beaten, even though they will also claim, the yellow claim that it was, I mean, the Amosun people will also say it was a retaliation, that they were retaliating. So that was the situation, and that acrimonious situation politically never ended. My experience in politics, I've always said that the wound in politics, political will never heal. It never heals. You can reduce the pain, but it will always come out. So, till date, and interestingly too, Amosun's APM lost by a political figure, a very small margin, about 18,000 difference for a party who came within 5 weeks to election. So they did well. But a lot of people have also said it was God who saved both Amosun and the state, that Amosun would have begin to see himself as a god on his own. And it was God who told him that nobody is God. You can't play God. So far, that's the situation. It never ended. Amosun still felt seriously that he was cheated. And I need to add this. They may not like this. As a reporter, I'm not aware of a primary conducted publicly that produced Dapo Abiodun. Maybe that's the rigging Amosun is saying. I know this will generate a lot of people, but that's the fact. Anybody can change it. I'm not aware. I was here. We were monitoring. We were running. Primaries was conducted, I know. But there was no public primaries conducted that produced Dapo Abiodun. Those are the issues Amosun were talking about. And these are facts on ground. So anybody can come and challenge that.
Wow. Now, in the last 3 years or thereabout, things have been, as we said, relatively harmonious. Are you surprised at the fact that Senator Amosun is now changing that state of affairs by openly declaring his lack of support? And are you anticipating a repeat of what happened leading up to the 2019 polls?
Lola, I'm not aware that Amosun ever supported Dapo Abiodun in anything. I'm not aware. From 2019. And he's never hidden it. That is bitter with admission. Like I said, the political cat and mouse situation struggling continued when there was to be ministerial appointments, when there was to be board members and chairmen appointed.
Well, APM members gravitated back to the APC.
They did because, maybe, okay, I should have also added that the campaign was that Amosun at that time was very confident that they will win the election. APM will win the election. And he said publicly severally that the day the election result is declared, May 29, when their governor will have been sworn in, May 30, all of them will move back to APC. He has said that from one. And remember that he never left APC, even though he was working against APC. So there was nothing new, strange. They were in the same camp. Amosun was very instrumental to the formation of APC. I was there in 2014. He was very instrumental. He spent money, onora, like the Yorubas would say, to form APC. So he's indeed a member of the APC. And that's why he felt bad. He's feeling bad about it, that he should have been protected by the party at the top. but somehow it didn't work out. So there was never a time I'm also supported that Abiodun till today.
But now he has openly thrown down the gauntlet ahead of the
It's
coming
always
election.
been. It's because election is coming. I can give several references.
So do you
That's what I
anticipate a
thought.
repeat of what happened in
That's
2019?
why I'm going to say a statement again that I'm sure people will call for my head. You know me. That's what I'll be. Exactly what happened in 2019 will happen. Campaign will start in September for the presidency.
But he doesn't have
And
the
by
power of the
October.
incumbents.
It does not have the power. But believe it, anybody, I read my friend and brother's statement, anybody who still underrates Amosun, particularly in the politics of Ogun Central, is not deceiving the public, is deceiving himself. Amosun remains a factor. Amosun remains a big man but the politics of Ogun Central. That's the truth.
Looking at what has played out over time, you've talked about how the battle continued up to when ministerial appointments were going to be made, boards, and I recall that when the APC held their congresses across board, the Amosun camp had a separate congress in Ake. And of course, the party at national level has eventually recognized that of Prince Dakwa. So it looked like the Amosun camp, lost out in that regard. The local government election was another point where it looked like the Amosun camp had also lost out. Another recent example would be there was another election. I'm trying to recall now, but it's at every step of the way. It looked like the Amosun camp, the primaries, all of those that were. Even Senator Amosun himself didn't get a return ticket of the APC. He
didn't contest.
He didn't contest, but he tried
Akinlade had no votes.
He tried to be president, the presidential candidate, but eventually, supported Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it looked like the Amosun camp. You look at all of the senatorial districts, you look at the House of Rep elections, primary elections. It looked like the Amosun camp had, consistently lost out to the governor over time. So where do you see this surprise, this element of surprise coming from? Like you mentioned, the power of incumbency is no longer there. He's not going to return as a senator. So it looks like Amosun doesn't have anything going for him.
Yes. You talked like somebody who does not know politics, with apology and therefore respect, or else you will know that the two main parties, APC, PDP, are structured it that the power, every power. That's what I laugh at people when they talk about a ticket, somebody. There's no number one and a half as president. He's only number one. The vice president is not there. It's not. Except the president decides, okay, I want to see you, I want to look at you, I want to give you something. The same thing with the governor. There's no number one and a half governor. Deputy governor is just a formal, non-visible position. The governor takes all. That's the way they have structured the party. So unfortunately and painfully too, they didn't separate the government from the party. So government and the party are one. So the head of government remains the head of party. So that's why everybody has to go and kneel down. In this state, we want as a state, you are the party chairman, you must kneel down, you must prostrate to talk to the governor. That's the way it is in this state. I'm not going to make So that's where, and some of us will always see Amosun as Alasheju. With due respect to him, he's my Ojumilo. So, but sometimes, and that's why some of us were also happy that God intervened in 2019. Nobody would try what Amosun is doing. Nobody tried it when he was governor. Of course, he was governor. I just talk about his squeezing the Segun Oshoba people out of the party. Nobody would try this with Amosun. Nobody ever tried. Benga Daniel, give it to him. That's a master done in public administration. Amosun, we call him a Ziggy master. I've said this to his face. Those of us that knows what Ziggy is. Amosun squeezed Benga Daniel. So nobody will try what Amosun is doing with Akpabion with him. The first Ilea, that road the Totoro, sorry, Itaeko Road, where Amosun normally, before they moved to White House, had the layer. The first layer was 2020. No, there was no layer in 2020. 2019, August, I remember, or September. A part, if you are coming from Akinolugbade to Agbeloba, that was the only road that was free. They blocked the other side completely. Visitors into Amosu's house. Nobody could use it. It was the same feeling of the governor having a party. The Amosu I know, with due respect, the FRSC sector commander, they say if they are on top of their Amosun will order them to come, they will tow every vehicle on that road. Because you are tempted to have two kings on a seat. That was what happened. At the prayer ground, those who are there will remember what happened too. Of course, the governor was not there, he was represented. But as soon as Amosu came in, as soon as it was going out, the prayer ended. Nobody listened to what the governor of his representative was saying. Nobody would try all those with Amosu. So it was not news to us, it was not strange that politically and the party structure, he lost out. There was nothing strange in that because that's the structure of the party. It is the governor, except the governor. The only governor in Nigeria I've seen who does not know how to use that or did not or wrongly use it was the man from Oyo State. I won't mention his name. Those who are in Oyo State will know. Rashidi Ladoja. He was the only one who he allowed everything and everybody to go. Every other governor in Nigeria, I've not seen any of them, including Ambode. It took a lot of things for the superpower to cow him. So that's the power of the governor. So I felt my opinion now.
What about Osun State, the most recent example?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that it's only a governor. If Oyetola, that's again why I cannot be.
He also squeezed out some.
No, that's what I'm saying, that the only person who allowed and took the former governor, his predecessor, to still remain his boss and master is Rashidi Ladoja, who gave power to other people. If he gave power, Aregbechola would have had his way. Oyetola was Aregbechola's chief of staff for 8 years. So 8 years, he called Aregbechola boss, sir. Because Aregbechola sent him messages. He squeezed Aregbechola out. So that's what I'm saying. So that nobody, no governor, I've not seen any governor, the only governor I saw who's done that, who gave his power to somebody else, was Rashidi Ladoja since 1999. No other governor.
Right.
So that's why I said it's not news that it is Dapo's camp who will take all in the party affair.
So what does Amosun have now?
No, we are looking at the party. Yes, there's no way. There's nothing Amosun will do, even if Dapo did not want to do. I know a lot of politicians around the whole point it out. That's how it starts. If it's in his time, colleague Barren, I won't. Why are you taking it? If you can't do it, we'll do it. You understand? So party issue. But I'm talking of the real grassroots. It has happened several times. You want me to begin to give you an example?
Just go ahead.
When the trailer, the fire at Lafewa, what happened? We saw the show. Abosun, when they visited. I just talked about, in fact, all the last one, it was the same report. The prayer ground at Idi. Amosun always steals the show. So when it comes to the grassroots, believe it. I talk about my respect and Benga Daniel bringing a different dimension to governance in Ogun State. But Amosun, to me, I was here. Nobody will tell me the story.
So he's a consummate politician.
He is. He's a dogged fighter. So the grassroots is what I'm saying. He still holds it in Ogun Central. I repeat, he still holds it. Yes, in Ogun Central. I'm not talking of elsewhere. Even though
But that is your opinion, though.
Of course, I said so. I said my opinion. But I always have reference. I talk about reference.
Right.
And there was a situation where the governor was stoned and Amosun was hailed. That my brother was stoned. Amosun was hailed.
Dele, before we go to the phone lines and get to the comments on social media. By the way, if you're listening, you can send us a comment on either of these platforms, Facebook, Twitter, or WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 081-7555. Is at Splash FM factor at all. Things are different in several ways. One is that, of course, the incumbency is flipped. Now it is Governor Amosun who is the incumbent, and Senator Amosun who is the predecessor, or who is no longer the one in the seat. But there's also the fact that pre-2019, Governor Amosun had been untested, But now he's had 3 years or 4 years. Do you think that will be a factor at all? And if it is a factor, do you think it will be a positive factor or a negative factor that the antecedents of this current administration will work for or against it in 2023?
Lola,
as an Ogun State resident.
Interestingly, from my experience in politics, I have a very rich one. You cannot hold on to any factor to win an election in Nigeria, because no one single factor. In fact, like I always say, competence and performance in governance sometimes are relegated to the background and give you an election.
But do they matter at all?
They could matter. I give references, like I always say. In it should be 2014, Ekiti and Osun, when Fayemi wanted to return for a second term, I taught the 16 local governments in Ekiti, and I saw the positive, glorious hands of the government of Fayemi in Ekiti. Ordinarily, you will expect that there will be no battle. He lost that election. In Osun, I was also there, the 30 or so local government. I taught everywhere, and I can say this, those who are from Osun, that Aregbesola performed. But his second term fight with Omishore, we all know, was battle of hell. Battle of hell. What I'm saying is this, from experience, second term battle for governors, particularly in the Southwest that I know, has always been very tough. Notwithstanding their performance, has always been very, very tough. Tinubu had it very tough with Funsho Williams in 2003. We all know that Fashola also had it very tough with Jimmy Agbaje for second term. I'm also had it very tough for his re-election in 2015. At the end, he triumphed. So I'm not going to sit down here. Yes, I agree. You trust me. I don't mince words. It doesn't matter who do not like what I'm saying. The fact, I will say it as I know it, that today's popularity, public popularity of the incumbent governor is low. It has nosedived, it has fallen. There's no doubt about that. But when the election comes, anybody who thinks that will make him or he has lost the election, there's also no politics or electioneering. I will not come out openly here and say because of the situation has lost that election. I won't. Because a lot of things will still happen. Like I said, my experience has shown to me that second time battle is always very tough. And in Nigerian politics and elections, it is not just what you've done. Other things unseen, unwritten, gives you victory.
We'll get to the phone lines shortly. But I also want to ask, Akinlade has moved to the PDP now as the deputy governorship candidate of the PDP. Do you see Amosun's hand in that? Is it a case of Owol or Esau?
Interestingly, Boyega, as a political watcher, I would say yes. There's no way he will have taken that position or decision without Amosun's consent. But I'm confused. Even me, Dele Ayodo, I'm confused. I'll tell you why. Since this, I've tried to speak with the kitchen cabinet insiders of Amosun, and all of them have cleverly dodged. Nobody wants to maybe speak to me on this matter because I know how I get my facts. None of them want to speak of me. And I've been hearing different stories. Like I said, ordinarily as an individual, I will conclude that Amosun knows about it. But I'm also getting strong feelers that Amosun did not approve it. So that's why I'm confused. In fact, the latest information, I have my source, serious, is that that was the question Lola asked. That when campaign comes, Amosun will campaign for APC's president and may not campaign for APC's governor, just as it happened in 2019. So that's why I said I'm confused about Akinlade's movement. You understand that? Very strong source has told me that he will campaign for APC president and will campaign against APC governor. But
you don't know who he will throw his weight behind in Ogun State.
I think at the weekend he did say he will soon announce where.
So maybe we'll wait for that.
There was also a statement he made about this rigging thing. Do you think he should be invited to shed some more light? Because those are some weighty allegations he made there.
I don't know. Again, maybe I'll disappoint. To me, there's no weight in whatever they say about rigging. All of them do rig. All of them. And if you look at the history of Nigerian politics, it's not in 2019. It started pre-independence, rigging in Nigerian election.
All right. Let's get to the phone lines now. Let's make you a part of the conversation. Now, don't forget that aside from the phone lines, there are several other digital channels through which you can at the moment.
I am Babari calling from Obansoko.
Good morning.
Thank you. Then please, there is one thing you said just now that I am. That was held in this state that brought Dapo Abiodun, the governor. You said there was no primaries.
No, he said
no public primaries that he's aware of.
So, which means. Then how did INEC agree for, because you said he did not participate in any primary, so that how did he now emerge as the party's candidate in that year? So please, because INEC, this is sort of illegality. Somebody did not come through a primary process. Then he is now representing the party in the state. And eventually he got the ticket and he's now the governor. So how did he now come on board? Because, Jagaban said it openly. The other
Okay, Babari, thank you very much for your question. 0704 400-1067. Someone is asking you, Babari is asking about your statement on the public primaries or lack of public primaries that led to the emergence of Governor Dapo Abiodun, saying how did he now emerge? You may also want to link that up to the claims of illegality in some of the primaries held as well, governorship primaries and the like across the nation.
You react to that, but let's take this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Abayami.
Where are you calling from, Obayo?
Abeokuta.
Please go ahead.
All right. Every politician in Nigeria, they are the same thing. Selfish and greedy. Always want everything to come to their side. Be it Amosun. That's why you may see Amosun being a dogged fighter and all that. However, returning Dapo Abiodun or not returning, it's not Amosun that will tell us to vote for, not to vote for Dapo Abiodun. And it's not Abiodun that will tell us to vote for him. Yoruba people will say, if Dapo Abiodun has done so well in the last 3 years, then he should not have any fear.
All right.
But as it is, we all know what is happening. Do you understand?
All right, thank you, Abayami, for your contribution. 0817-444-1067.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Kazim. I'm calling from Mr. Good morning.
Kazim.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, Mr. Dele, you said it all. But let me quickly clear on the issue of maybe public primary. That's the primary. individual ward has its own primary and its own ward. Because of the attack from Amosun, they try to do it at the ward level so that they will not attack them because it's the principle of the state that time, so that it's the primaries that brought the man. But let me just back you up. See, like Owe Egba will never, Egba will join you. Nigga will do. It's them. All this one the Amosun was saying about going to do this thing. Let him go ahead. The man in the house has asked you a question. When he was in Ikuben, he brought somebody, whether he tried or not, a lot. But now today, it's nothing. It's an But because of time, I will have given you some analysis. But the time will not permit me.
All right.
But let me just say it like that.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Kazim, for your contribution and consideration. We have time to take one or two more calls, and then Dele Ayodo will respond, especially to the question by Barry. Good morning.
Nicholas from Abeokuta.
Nicholas, good morning to you.
Everywhere there has been a contest amongst men, whether it was from Jacob and Laban, Abiola and Babangida, Amosun and Abiodun. Like the second caller said, if they have a clash of interest, there will be crisis. But it should be noted that these men, after this crisis, they find a way to still become business partners, in-laws. And like the last Owude, Amosun, Obasanjo and Abiodun, they sat down, they drank wine. And some people were killing themselves close to them. So the poor, the weak should learn to protect their lives. Dele Ayodo, if you were Funshaw Williams' son or Dick Odino's son, will you be moved to participate on this program? Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Nicholas. Let's take two more calls, and then we get Dele Ayodo to respond. Let's try the other line now. Good morning. Good morning. Just turn down the volume on your radio set.
Please do.
Okay.
Alarm is my name, calling from Abeokuta.
Alarm, please go ahead.
Please just salute the courage of your guest this morning that it takes somebody to be bold for him to have given all these analysis, and then they form the fulcrum for all of us to look at this. I think what has to happen at this point in time is for all of us as a voter to decide what will be best for us as citizens of Ogun State and citizens of Nigeria. What we need at this point in time is how to move our state and our country forward. And all these shenanigans will have to be played down for us to actually decide who is fit to continue to advance our cause and to give us an egalitarian community that we so much desire. We salute the courage of everyone, but people are not doing what is expected of them in the political realm. We need a sagacious person that will take us to El Dorado. Let me stop for that.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It looks like we're having a lot of consideration.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dele. My name is Honorable Lanre Jaji. I was just calling from the People's Parliament in Abeokuta. I'm sorry, I'm still mourning a friend. Tunji Kanimodos, I've not been calling, but I just want to greet you, Dele. I just want to say hi to you and my person. God bless you. Thank you.
Our condolences to you on the loss of your friend. So before we proceed on our first commercial break,
quickly, I also need to mention Tunji Kanimodo. Believe it, interestingly, very painful. I spoke with him exactly 24 minutes after 4 on Friday, and he was buried at about 5 o'clock on Saturday. Wow. I was to see him 2 p.m. today in his office. That's one of the lessons of life. It's unfortunate, Tunji. He's also my friend. That's it. I was to see him 2 p.m. today. We spoke 24 minutes after 4 on Friday, and he was buried 5 o'clock on Saturday. He died that same Friday. So that's for that. And that takes me to the lesson. I'll pick Nicholas and Alaron together. For Nicholas, if I am Dipo Dino, son of Funshaw William, believe it, I will tell my story and tell my story and tell my story and tell my story. All I know. I will never keep quiet. I'll keep talking everywhere, anywhere. For Alaron, you are very correct. For those of us who were in these states between 2008 till 2011, when we had G16 and G15 or whatever, we know what happened in these states. So we don't want that again. So it's important that we work towards the peace. It's important that we work towards the unity of this state. For Babarire, I need to tell you, it is not that Abiodun or Dele Ayodo that will submit his own name to INEC. It is the party.
And that's what INEC,
And that's what INEC will take. INEC will not take the name submitted by Dakwa Abiodun or Ibikunle Amosun. It is the one submitted by the party. So whether you agree that there was a public primary or not, whether anybody agrees or not, does not matter.
What about the clause that there has to be an INEC observer?
Hmm?
What about the clause that stipulates that for it to be valid,
It is
there has
now
to be
that
an INEC
INEC.
observer?
It is now that INEC has just INEC is tightening a lot of things up. Lola, ask anybody who was in this state in 2007. We had a primary PDP. There were 2 PDP in this state. They held 2 primaries. One was at MK Abiola Stadium. One was in a private property of somebody. The 2 were monitored by INEC. The one approved by the party was the one at MKO Abiola. The one taken by INEC was the one held at the private property in this state. So that's a reference for Babarire. So that's what the party politics in Nigeria is.
Well, we do have to proceed on that commercial break now.
We must thank Dele Ayodo, veteran journalist, for giving us this overview of politics in Ogun State and doing a fantastic job analyzing. Thank you, Dele Ayodo, for your time.
God bless you. God bless my state. God bless Ogun State. I'm a resident. I'm a stakeholder of Ogun State. So I will do everything to ensure that Ogun State
just like we
is at
said,
peace.
we'll continue to clamor for peace. And I'm sure as time goes on, there will be more revelation. Please stay with us.
Splash, your integrity station.
Honey, must you go?
Babe, you know I must. Besides, you can always video call me.
What if your battery runs out?
I've got my power bank.
Hey, and when your power bank runs out?
Babe, I've got my laptop.
Okay, wait. What if your data runs out?
Babe, you know we never run out of data.
Never run out of data with Airtel Home Broadband Unlimited Ultra plans. Enjoy unlimited data with no speed cap plus extra data daily, so you never have to worry about running out. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Babe, but I just left the house.
Yes, honey. It's video calling all the way.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
ọjọ́ ti pẹ́ tá a ti ní ìrírí iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná tí kì í ṣe déédéé. Owó tá a fi ń ra epo sí jẹnẹrétọ̀ wa ń fi ojoojúmọ́ gòkè sí i. Àfi bí ajá tó ń sáré tó wó ń jóná. Kò sówó, a tún fi owó ọ̀hún rajà tó wọ́n. Ẹni tó fẹ́ wo tẹlifíṣàn, tan fan, gbórin aládìídùn lálẹ́, tó wá tún ẹ̀rọ amúnáwá jẹnẹrétọ̀ fún wákàtí 8 lójúmọ́. Á ná 1,800 naira fowó epo. A ò fura ní o. 12,600 ló máa jẹ́ lọ́sẹ̀. 54,000 naira tán ni lóṣù kan. Eléyìí ò wá pọ̀ jù. Ṣé bí mo bá fi ọ̀nà kan hàn yín tí àwọn tí wọ́n já sí ń tọ̀ tí wọ́n fi ń gbádùn iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná tí kì í ṣẹ́jú ṣẹ́yìn náà máa tọ̀ ọ́. June 6 Energies Nigeria Limited ilé iṣẹ́ tí ó ti múra tán láti ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn fún gbogbo ẹni tó fẹ́ gbádùn iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná tí kì í ṣẹ́jú kíkì nípasẹ̀ agbára oòrùn. Àṣeyọrí gbogbo ìgbà ló jẹ́ kí June 6 Energies máa tẹ̀síwájú níbi ká bá ní ṣe solar inverter fún ilé iṣẹ́ ńláńlá àti kéréje-kéréje, solar TV, solar freezer, solar street light àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ansarudin House, Quarry Road, Pepsi Abeokuta, 081-2926-7722.
ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbísúyọ lóko bọ̀pá dé. Wọ́n ní ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ kárí ẹ̀ lórí ìgbà ọ̀tun. Pàápàá àǹfààní tó gbọ́mọpọ̀n dáadáa. Ilẹ̀ oko mo lọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ orílẹ̀ ìlúgùn Ọlọ́run dá 25,000 ní plọ̀tì báyìí. Ẹ ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta kẹ́ ẹ gba ìdajì sí i. Bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ gba plọ̀tì kan sí i. Ilẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ Kọ́bápá Alábàtà Ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 per plot. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ìdajì lẹ́gbà sí i. Bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ ó gbòdìdì kan sí i. Àwọn náírà ti wà ńlẹ̀ láti ra èrè oko yín. 39 NTA Road Ọ̀gbẹ̀ Abẹ́òkúta 08033706236 08033706236. ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ abisuyọ lóko bọ̀kọ̀ ìgbọ̀tún fáwọn àgbẹ̀.
ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kẹjọ làǹfààní yóò pin. Triumphant Convention 2022. Àkókò ìmúṣẹ ìlérí ló wọlé dé fún gbogbo èèyàn báyìí at the 2022 Convention of Triumphant Life Covenant Church and the consecration of General Overseer Reverend Ṣẹ́gun Oyèṣìdé as presiding bishop. Wednesday ọjọ́ kẹtàdínlógún sí Friday ọjọ́ kọkàndínlógún oṣù kẹjọ yìí. Àdúrà alágbára yóò máa rọ̀ bí òjò sórí gbogbo èèyàn látago mẹ́sàn-án àárọ̀ at the convention. Tag the promises shall be fulfilled. A ó mú àwọn ìlérí náà ṣẹ. Saturday ogúnjọ́ August 22 is the consecration from 11 a.m. to be presided by National President, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, Bishop Francis Waleoke, with the support of Bishop Tunde Akinakisanya, Bishop Felix Adejuma, and Bishop David Bakari, with the State PFN Chairman, Apostle David Otaro. Thanksgiving holds on Sunday, August 21st. Reverend and Reverend Mrs. Olusegun David Oyeshide, Lulugbalejo, Triumphant Convention 2022, yóò wáyé ní Jesus Brewery, along Olomore Road, Abeokuta. Fún àlàyé síwájú sí, ẹ pè 0803-793-1195. Come and God's promises shall be fulfilled in your life. Jésù lolúwa. Ọ̀pẹ́ o, Fabulous Family Estate ní ọdún mẹ́ta tí a ti ń talẹ̀ ta ilé ní ìrọ̀rùn láti fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn.
50% ìdajì iye owó tàǹtà wọn lẹ́wà gbogbo la máa ta fáwọn ẹni mẹ́ta àkọ́kọ́ tó bá yọjú sí wa lójoojúmọ́.
Láti ọjọ́ kẹta títí di ọjọ́ kẹtàdínlógún oṣù yìí 3rd to 17th of August 2022.
Divine Grace Estate wa tàǹtà ní 150,000 naira ní randa 75,000 la máa ta fẹ́ni mẹ́ta àkọ́kọ́ tó bá wá lónìí. Divine Glory Estate wa tó wà ní Pàkúdí Ọbàdà Oko. Diamond Estate wa tó wà ní tòsí Buhari Estate. Lókòpónà Kọ́bápẹ́ Abẹ́òkúta 300,000 la ń ta ẹni mẹ́ta àkọ́kọ́ tó bá yọjú sí wa lónìí 150,000 la máa ta fún wọn. Ilé oko tàǹtà ní ọba bẹ́ẹ̀ ni farmland wa tó wà lọ́bàdà ìdíyẹmí ní 40,000 naira 20,000 láta fẹ́ni mẹ́ta àkọ́kọ́ tó bá wá lónìí. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ti ń gba rìsíìtì ilẹ̀ yẹn ẹ máa gbára fún draw ticket tẹ́ni mẹ́ta ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ máa fi $1 million àṣepàjẹ́. Fún ti pọ̀pọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ ayẹyẹ ọdún kẹta wa iná ṣe wá rí kó ti zẹ̀. Ẹ máa bọ̀ tààràtà ní Fabulous Family Estate and Investment Limited 23 Jíde Josue beside Ira Kitchen Òkèlèwú Abẹ́òkúta. Ẹ máa pe 0702-500636 0702-500636. Every better parent dey give them pikin quality education to get knowledge and wisdom wey tanda. Ìdí rèé tí gbogbo òbí ṣe mú àwọn ọmọ wọn lọ sí Wisdom Academy fún ojúlówó ẹ̀kọ́ tó perégedé. Children schooling at Wisdom Academy are the pride of their parents. At Wisdom Academy, we offer quality and affordable crèche, nursery and primary education. Our vision is to raise a new generation of God-fearing leaders through Christ-centered educational curriculum. Wisdom Academy is situated at 15 Presidential Boulevard by Kuto Flyover, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Admission is ongoing with special discount offer to the first 50 pupils and family with at least 3 children enrolled with us. Bring your child to enjoy the services of our dedicated staff, conducive learning environment, well-equipped library, amongst other world-class facilities. Àǹfààní yìí yóò dópin ní Monday, August 22. Fún àlàyé síwájú sí, ẹ pè 0803-346-5083 tàbí 0703-543-2118. Wisdom Academy, Christ's wisdom for knowledge and understanding.
Ìmẹ̀rọ ń tẹ̀síwájú láti mú kí wọn náà lè máa gbélé pawó ni. Èyí ni àǹfààní tí iléeṣẹ́ Bronze Global System gbé wá fún ọ. Pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ọmọ tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ parí ẹ̀kọ́ girama. Pre-ICT training rẹ o. Tètè máa bọ̀ kó jàǹfààní nínú àwọn kọ́ọ̀sì bíi desktop publishing, computer engineering, kó o kọ́ bó ṣe ń tún. tó jójúlówó àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Iléeṣẹ́ Bronze Global System mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ gbé àǹfààní yìí wá ní o. Ẹ̀yin kọ́bà, ẹ̀yin student, àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ wọlé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga. Ẹ tètè máa bọ̀ ní Bronze Global System. Kẹ̀ wá kọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ ní head office wọn tó wà ní 97 Ìjẹ̀jà Road lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Mao Petrol Station Ìjẹ̀jà Abẹ́òkúta. Bákan náà ni study center wọn wà ní Panṣẹ́kẹ́ ní 19 Prestige Plaza lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Ìdẹ́ra Pharmacy Oníkókò. Ẹ máa pe Bronze Global System sórí 080-3920-9990. Ẹ sì tún lè pè wọ́n fún solar inverter. Bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ install CCTV àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Bronze Global System. Àgbà òjò onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ tó ń sọ ní di akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ onímọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀.
We're not gonna cuss at you. We're not gonna yell at you.
We're just gonna give you the best of information and entertainment that everyone can agree on.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama. Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Welcome back. This is Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM, the Integrity Station. And this is Panorama. And we've had veteran journalist and broadcaster Dele Ayodo with us for the first segment of the show. He's left now, so we'll just race through comments on social media, and then we'll get to the second segment of the program.
That's right. Let's begin with WhatsApp with our first comments there from Ijola Waliu, who says, "Morning, presenter and Dele Ayodo. My name is..." Okay, my question to Mr. Dele Ayodo, do you think there's any merit or demerit the masses can obtain from Amosun and the current governor's misunderstanding? But Dele Ayodo is no longer here. This one is from Oluwafermi from Okemoson. Oluwafermi says, Mr. Dele Ayodo is very right about February incident when APC had their presidential campaign in Abeokuta. It's only God that said I should wear white top and blue jeans. I would have been beaten too. It's a terrible day. It's one of the most terrible days I've ever witnessed. Anybody that put on yellow or orange that day will never forget what happened to them. And what he's doing now, Amosun that is, can never take it. He can never take it. So he shouldn't give what he cannot take. This next one from Surakat Abdulhamid Abiodun says, don't do to others what you cannot take. The political shenanigans that happened in 2019 was unimaginable, but Amosun got away with it, and that was the first political gangsterism I've ever seen. 2023 is here, and so power must change hands. Abdul Rashid Okenla from Shakon says, Bros Dele, I give it to you. You really are a grassroots man. I witnessed many of what you said, but sad things are changing drastically. APC, Loke, APM, Nisale is spoiling the drama and becoming a nuisance. People are becoming wiser and unpushable. A son that fails to hearken to his father's advice will surely go astray. Dakwa Abiodun should do the needful to the expected people of the state and citizens for him to retain power in 2023, especially from civil servants, says Tola Abiodun from Elite. This one is from Olumuyiwa from Camp, and Olumuyiwa says, good morning, Gwega and Lola. Trust you all had a great weekend. Thank you. I did.
So
it's a season of allegations. Chief Oshoba and Senator Amosun alleging that they were rigged out in 2003 and 2019, respectively. Senator Amosun should be questioned by the authorities over his claim. The probe should be extended to former Governor Aremo Olusegun Oshoba. Enough of the power games among political gladiators. Ogun State should come first. Olabode Adigun says, I'll appreciate if you can extend the touchlight of the brilliant analysis to cover what now is the political fate of OGD in light of the fact that he's still at large in the political camp of Prince Dakwa Abiodun and at the same time currently nursing an ambition at the federal level, which we all know the huge weight SIA still, that's Senator Ibikule Amosun still carries undeniably at that stage. Well, maybe we'll revisit this topic and then you guys will get to direct your questions at our guest then. This next one is from Nicholas, who says, if Amosun wants Abiodun out, does that mean he will support another party because Dakwa has won the primaries for the next election? Indeed, Alexander Pope was right when he said politics is the madness of many for the benefit of a few. All free citizens are stakeholders. Rest in peace to the dead, succor to the living mourners. This next one from Shodi Muyabo from Iliweron says, I think Prince Dakwa Abiodun should look for a way to resolve the misunderstanding between him and Amosun because Amosun does not have anything to lose in this coming election. That's actually an interesting point. This next one is from Olajuwel, and Olajuwel says, neither Amosun or Dakwa Abiodun is a saint. They're all pursuing their personal interest. However, there are some among these so-called politicians, such as the late sage Awolowo, who, while pursuing his personal interest, also pursue the public interest. Therefore, the people of Ogun State should wake up and vote who will benefit them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not satisfied with this present administration, but who among the opposition is any better? Finally, on WhatsApp, Afolabi from Onikolobo says, Mr. Dele should know that any candidate without a valid primary is not a valid candidate and can be removed through litigation. We should remember the case of Zamfara State. The APC primary that produced Governor Dakwa Abiodun could not be said to be a valid primary, but the party went ahead to submit his name. Is that not rigging? Well, Dele has answered this particular one, saying that, it is whoever the party submits that INEC recognizes, at least back then. All right, let's get on with Facebook and Twitter.
I'll start with Facebook. Agmiadi Sheriff, thank you for your comment. Vuna Dickland saying is watching from Ebonyi State. Thank you very much for your message. Tayo Ademola Adiniro says, good morning, Bwega and Lola. May God bless you guys. Bwega, we all know where Dele belong to, like he did. He was invited last week to talk about FG and Nigeria citizens. All what Amosun is doing is what Yoruba called Ilara, which is envy. And he also forget another proverb saying, your friend become king, you are not happy. He forgets that you will never be his friend. I want to ask Dele, can Amosun take this when he was in power? Well, he already talked about that. But I want to able governor to continue his good job that he's doing and not listen to anyone. I should remember that he's from a royal family. May God bless our dear Governor Abiodun. That's from Engineer Tayo Adeniran from Kuto Abeokuta. Adekunle Musa said, good morning, sir. Mr. Ayodo has said the truth about Senator Amosun's political behavior. Should I believe that PDA benefited more in Amosun's government? That is why he did not act on all this. Senator Amosun is still nursing the wound Professor Shimbaju gave him in the support of PDA in 2019. Olorun Abawonto. Adekunle Musa, it is because Senator Amosun performed more than OGD. That was why it is relevant. If PDA had surpassed Senator Amosun's achievement, we would have forgotten him. PDA should be more visible. PDA should announce the appointment of governing council in all the tertiary institutions and many more in Ogun State. Santarian Akinola Olorantimi says, good morning and well done. Kudos to Baba Dele Ayodo and the presenters. It in fact a cold morning here in the state capital. And then he's saying, Olamide telling this your low cut is awesome. Oh,
Thank you.
well,
It's not new though, but thank you.
And then he said, we need to take things easy in this state. Only God has the power, not any human being. It is well. All right, thank you. And again, we'll continue to clamor for peace and hope that all of this do not degenerate into a fisticuff between both camps. And let's just continue to exercise restraints in all of these. But let's get to Twitter now. Ajala Yemi says, excellent analysis by Mr. Ayodo as usual. However, I disagree with him about the overarching influence of Amosun out of Okemosun's seat. Don't forget that Akinlade has taken some of his people to PDP. And then he says, please play Omi Tutun by Anyila Omowura. And he continues by saying it was an APM candidate that was caught with millions of naira and hundreds of election materials at Ijayi in Abeokuta during the 2019 elections. Thus, I can't say if anyone rigged the 2019 elections was APM under the leadership of Amosun. Jesse Bab says, good morning, Panorama. Mr. Dele Ayodo has been practical in his submission this morning. As regards the point raised by a resource person, Senator Amosun is correct with his allegation back on in Gbogbo, but they should all be prepared for 2023 election because Omar Shok Gbogbo, Governor Dapo Abiodun, and Senator Amosun inclusive. Temidayo at Dayo Moses one said Amosun will reclaim Ogun State with what is going on in the state. Our APC members are moving to PDP. Then said what happened in Osun is about to happen in Ogun State. Ayodabo Morita Lalascom said, good morning to Nigeria. Baba Ayodo is a man of great analysis. I always enjoy listening to him. Ogun politics is going to be tough and full of drama come next year. A peaceful election is all I pray for. And I was going to say that it's been a while we had from Ofemi. Either on Twitter or on Facebook. So if you're listening, we miss you. And for every other person that has also not gotten across to us of late, we hope you're doing fine. And hopefully we'll get to hear from you. I was glad to read from Miriam Lasisi Balogun.
I know she moved out of
week.
the state, so
but she
that
still
explains
followed
her
through.
absence.
I saw a comment on Facebook on one of the days last week. So thank you. And if you're out of the state as well, you can carry us along with you wherever it is that you go. Radio Garden, our website, we have an app on any of the Play stores that you can download to monitor the station anywhere in the world.
We've made it very convenient for you to listen to us regardless of your location. So it is no longer a factor that will go in. The Yorubas will say, okay, this is Yoruba. Bí obìnrin ò bá tó ilé ọkọ méjì wò. Méjì wò. Whoa.
If a woman has not tested the homes of two husbands, then she won't be able to decipher which is better.
Even your Yoruba is, the way you wrote it, That's what ends it. Thank you very much for your comments, Elias, and everyone who sent
And
us
for
comments
giving
on.
Zola some edit.
Please give me grace when I'm the one reading Yoruba comments.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter comments.
We appreciate you and everyone who tried to call as well. We have to move to the second segment.
No doubt there'll be other intrigues coming up, leading up to the elections, and just as they come, we'll also take them.
All right, so we have a guest for the second segment of the program now, Pastor Ayodo. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Boyega. Good morning, Lola.
Good morning, Ayo.
I think it's
see you. It's been a while.
Cool to be here.
All right, and he's looking dapper with his bow tie.
Dapper is the word.
I'm trying to look like you sometimes.
Definitely not me. Like
no, he knows. You cut the joke.
All right, let's get to the newspapers now. I have with me here the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
I have Vanguard newspaper.
All right, fears over PDP split into North-South caucuses. With the riders, members not sure NWC can resolve differences. More details emerge on article Wike's peace talks. Ayu must go, say Judge Olualabi. Ayu gives fresh condition to resign as PDP chairman. Reconciliation will be fully achieved. Mukhtar Shagari. Military strikes kill bandits warlord, 27 others in Katsina. NDLA arrests pastor in court now with 3 drums of Unkuru Mary in Akwa Ibom. APC Oyetola hire 11 sons, 25 other lawyers to tackle Adeleke PDP. Security agents launch manhunt for killers of Lautech student, 2 others with the riders, just 1, indigents to stage peaceful protests today. Exporters lament as cargo spend 5 months at Apapa port before shipment. Train project, Lagos to begin passenger carriage by January 2023. Looking forward to that. And that's according to the governor, Sanwo-Olu. And there are 2 pictures here. And the one I would like to talk about is the 4x100 meters relay team, Nigeria's relay team at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, United Kingdom. That's Toby Amosun, Favor Ofidi, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Grace Nwokocha. They won gold yesterday, and Nigeria won, I think, 11 golds in total, all won by women. Ese Brume also set a championship record yesterday, game record yesterday, on our way to winning gold as well with a jump of 7 meters, and several other ladies as well. Yesterday as well, the 4x100 meters relay men team also won bronze, but it was an interesting and great outcome for Team Nigeria.
There's a running commentary on Twitter about how the women are showing off and showing up and showing out at the games, but the men in comparison are not really coming up to snuff. But hey, regardless, we're glad well, at least in at the Commonwealth Games it is. We're very grateful to the ladies for doing us proud, but ultimately they're all Nigerians, so makes us proud. From Vanguard newspaper, act fast to save economy. NECA NASG task federal government. Say energy crisis, forex scarcity, falling currency, insecurity, bleeding economy. Urge federal government to resolve challenges with holistic approach. NESG says reforms are needed to save economy. Asks government to fast-track deregulation, tackle forex scarcity. Okada ban has reduced insecurity and deaths in Lagos, according to the governor, Sanwo-Olu. Strike will beg ASU if they leave that hanging. The details will be contained in the story, but it's parents telling federal government, as the federal government says, we can no longer enter into unimplementable agreements. Middle Belt youths to governors emulate autumn, set up local security outfits. Pantami emerges first African fellow of CLL-SEC, or it's the CII-SEC. I think it's CII-SEC. Electricity generation rises 7.6% to 4,089 megawatts as inadequate facilities hinder distribution. PDP reps say we're not interested in calls to impeach Buhari now. NAF kills 9 terrorists, including mastermind of Buhari's convoy attack in Katsina, as troops kill Boko Haram commander, 27 others in Borno. Osun governorship-elect says we won't probe Oyetola's administration. And that's the final story from the front page of Vanguard newspaper.
All right, let's get to these details of the story now. And let's start with what's happening in Ogun State. APC Oyetola 11 sons, 25 other lawyers to tackle Adeleke PDP. Well, it has been said, the allegations are that they were overvoting in several polling units and that there are discrepancies as regards the name of the PDP's candidates. In some documents is Ademola Adeleke, in some is Ademola Nuruddin Adeleke, in some is Ademola Ifeanyi Adeleke. And, it looks like these are some of the things that the APC is hinging its protest to the court on.
Okay, they're looking for some technical factors there. Well, if I were Oyetola, I will not bother pursuing this case because, but in Nigeria, there has been virtually no elections done that there would not be petitions. Well, that's why the tribunals are there. But what is more important about the game of election is to find out, the true measurement of free, fair, and credible election to me is to find out whether it reflected the yearnings of the people, whether it tilted towards what the people want. And we all saw what happened. We even saw some people who said they collected 10,000 naira, but that Owoti Wogbo, So I think change has come there. I'm not a lawyer. I do not know what they will make of those technical this thing. Whatever it is, Ademola Adeleke is still the same person. Those are part of his names. If there are discrepancies.
But many are making reference to what happened in Bayelsa.
Okay.
With the deputy then of David Leon, I believe, who were already, rehearsing for swearing. And because of name discrepancies, the election was overturned.
Not two.
And that's even the deputy, not
no two situations are really ever the same. It may be slightly different. I'm not envisaging that will significantly change anything.
All right. But if it manages to sail through, that would be the second time that Ademola Adeleke's will or intention, or maybe even victory, will be thwarted. Yes, especially in an unusual, not somewhat unusual manner. What do you think that would mean for the people of Osun? Because till date, many still question the 2018 victory.
Okay.
That saw to the emergence of Oyetola. So what do you think that would mean if it happens a second time? Even though it will be in a slightly different manner, but
well, I pray it doesn't, because the dances are just everywhere. Dancing in the aircraft, dancing on the land, dancing everywhere. Ultimately, that will be done is the credo for, Christians everywhere. You don't fight. God does what he likes. He does what he pleases. If it happens, maybe God forbid for him. Because I have looked at him as a candidate. That's the first time I made a post. I said, the people of Osun are likely going to be in trouble with a dancing governor like this. But when I saw, the whole drama that played up during the election and the victory that was handed over to him, I liked him. And I feel this is his time. I just pray that time will not be taken away from him.
All right, let's check out other stories now.
All right, from the Vanguard newspaper, as well as the Punch, there's more news on the proposed impeachment of the presidency, as PDP reps are saying some opposition lawmakers in the House of Representatives have said they are not interested in the impeachment threats against President Muhammadu Buhari, citing timing as a major factor, as others said that the presiding officers of both chamber of the National Assembly were Buhari's henchmen who would strongly frustrate the plan to remove him. Also, from the Punch this time. It says here that the opposition lawmakers have said there's no going back on their resolve to impeach the president if he fails to address the insecurity in the country within 6 weeks. Well, clearly not the same set of opposition lawmakers, but senator representing the Benue Northwest Senatorial District, who says that APC senators are tired of defending the president on insecurity. What do you make of these proposed impeachment moves and the likelihood of them ever actually sailing through?
Well, the first thing to say is that the impeachment is in order because Nigerians are tired. We could see, and at the end of the day, this democracy belongs to all of us, and in particular, the governmental actors. If anything happens, God forbid, all of them go back home or, some may lose their life. It has gotten so bad because of the insecurity that has crept into Abuja. Abuja now is not the same Abuja you used to know. All over Kubwa, Kuje, and then, so, but I must say that the impeachment project is owned, first of all, by the Senate. They started the move. The one you saw by the other lower chamber, they also catch in on the move, and many of them are apologies of, the Buhari administration. Some are saying the time is too short. The time is not too short. All we are saying is that even Buhari himself, the president, has said the thing is tough, and that by implication, that would mean that, look, if I can just, if anything, should just whatever. So the remaining 7 months or so, or 8, if he can land into somebody else's hands, supposing the impeachment says true, some things can still be done. The senators, I read the story and I found out that the motion is still being sustained and it has not been debated further. They gave 6 weeks. Even though some people felt, these guys, you don't want to do anything. If you want to do anything, 6 weeks is true. But procedurally, it's okay. And they have not backed out. But the president of the Senate is also a little bit of a clock, too. He wants to also block it. But there are also some surreptitious moves to also oust the Senate president if care is not taken.
But the PDP holds the minority. Do you see them? Do you think they can garner enough to impeach the president?
It's really not about the PDP now. If all things had been normal, it would have been different. You can see from the interviews of the senators, they said, look, the chicken has come home to, we can no longer defend these things. Some of them have been kidnapped, or some of their family members.
Right.
Some bad things have happened to some people in government. The only people you will see that are shouting government is performing now, they are people who are making some things from the government. You remember we were here about a month ago, we were talking about the Bloomberg report. Those who read the story would have thought, Buhari has been winning the war, particularly that of against terrorism and some other things. He spoke about the economy. He spoke very eloquently and very laudably of the CBN governor. And those two factors came in during the last 1 month. We now know that all is not well in the CBN, or at least with the handling of, the affairs there. We also now know that this terrorism thing, we have been just catching, it's like we've been catching the surface, and there are threats. It's after the Bloomberg report that a threat came that they were going to kidnap the president. And all of these issues are very troubling. Who wants to keep defending this? Maybe only Femi Adesina and Gabashew.
All right, we've dwelt on the state of Ogun politics during the issue of the day, but I don't know if you also like to weigh in on this. Amosun's threat, Ogun, not your father's inheritance, Abiodun tells ex-governor. And that's according to the platform time. And the report is that the Ogun State governor, Dr. Abiodun, has replied his predecessor, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, saying Ogun State is not anybody's father's inheritance. Abiodun declared I would not be distracted by any person who has a problem with self-delusion. I said that the 2019, Amosun had said that the 2019 governorship election was rigged in favor of the incumbent governor. Said that he would rather focus on his mandate and not join issues with anyone who wants to play God. Well, Amosun had spoken, and Governor Abiodun seemed to have responded now.
Okay, well, I listened to the program and I found out that Dele Ayodo did a lot of justice in terms of the narratives and how it all began. And I also listened to some of the comments. There was one that said, if Prince Dr. Abiodun has done enough to register himself through performance, Amosun would have been long forgotten. I think so. But whatever Amosun is doing now, I have never been his fan. I like the fact that he did a lot of routes. In fact, if he had not done some routes, look at it, in terms of widening, the whole Abeokuta, and indeed maybe some elsewhere, things would have been chaotic. But that's how far it goes. Amosun also wasted money on flyovers everywhere and these were needless. Somebody commented that he has spent his time and that he should allow other people to spend their time. I also align with that. But we have not seen so much in terms of performance in fact, I used to say, what is they going to campaign with? Although I saw some pictures of projects taken in the night. I saw glowing lights here and there, but I still see roads everywhere in very decrepit states. I see, so clearly, governor can still buckle up to do something. He's doing some things quietly along where I work now, OGTV Road. That place has been very dangerous. But it's widening. I don't know whether he can finish. He's trying to do like 6 lanes there. You see, government is about response. Governance is about response to the problems and yearnings of the people. Look at what happened at Songota, where people were literally scandalizing the governor, talking on him, go away, we don't want you, things like that. Although his media handlers came out to say it didn't happen, but we saw videos. You see, it's not bad when the media reports what is happening. They could still turn that negative trend. And I think they said they went there now and some work is going on. So they are fond of labeling people who criticize. Criticism is good. So I think the governor should still do more. But I want to appeal to Amosun. What he did the other time, he wants to repeat it now. I'm not sure it's going to fly. It's not going to work.
All right, send us comments on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter. This is from the pages. So we have read out headlines from the newspapers, Vanguard and Tribune, to your hearing so that you can pick one and react to them. Ayaro Jolie is with us. He's the public affairs analyst giving us some perspective on some of these stories. Facebook, Splash FM 106.7. You'll find that we're live there, so click on the live stream and comments. WhatsApp is 081-755-1067. And Twitter remains at Splash FM 1067. Include the hashtag Panorama on Splash in your tweets. That's hashtag Panorama on Splash. Our next story is on the ASU strike. As this headline, this time around from The Punch, says PTA demands federal government ASU parents confab. It says that the National Association of Parents Teachers Association of Nigeria has advised the federal government to convey a tripartite meeting of parents, academic staff union of universities and government so as to resolve the ongoing strike by the university teachers against the backdrop of the request by the FG that parents associations should appeal to ASU to call off the strike, while the government insisted that it did not have the funds to meet the union's demands. What are your thoughts on this? On the parents union, parents teachers union, sort of siding with ASU to some extent, saying that federal government should give in to their demands. Meanwhile, federal government says we don't have the money. And last we heard, UTAS, which is also another key demand of ASU, is being subjected to another test. But we recall that the earlier test it was subjected to, the federal government said it did not pass the integrity test, and so it cannot be used. But they ordered another one. The report has been submitted, but we don't know the content of the report. But it seems like there's no headway being made on any of ASU's demands so far. But what are your thoughts on this new development with the Parents Teachers Association?
Yes, you are right. Sadly, there is no end in sight. Partly because the government is not doing anything. See, ASU has maximum demand and minimum demand. On the issue of UTAS, as far as I know, UTAS is not the reason why they have not called off the strike. There are a number of other things there. I think the problem is that, and I'm afraid, and it's scary to feel that you may be surprised. May 29 will meet this ASU strike in Nigeria, and it's so sad that a party in power has boldness to want to come back to the electorate to demand for votes. And it's so saddening that there are people who will still want to queue behind because this is an albatross. But the APC government is not seeing it like that. And somehow, very unfortunately, the APC has a sense of entitlement, as if these people must vote for us, except they have other plans. I do not see a party who has kept, and government who has kept our youths at home for close to 6 months now, who come back to the electorate, and say, please vote for me. Let me tell you, some things are happening because of these youths that have been, let loose. There was a church somewhere. They went there, packed everything. Only chair they left. Packed everything. It's because these people are at home. And a lot of people are turning, they say, devil finds work for an idle hand.
Festus Keyamo said parents should beg ASU. Do you think ASU has also been overbearing with their demands?
Let me use one word. That is unfortunate. Let me just be mind, because is this a joke? Is it because many of them don't have their children schooling here in Nigeria? You see, ASU is right to make his demand. This issue is not about ASU alone. There are other unions in the university. What we are saying is that the government has failed in the area of engagement. It goes beyond having a minister of labor. In fact, if you give me any ministerial appointment and you assign me to labor, I'm not going. It's an errand boy's position. After you have done all, everybody is blaming Ngige, but I don't think the thing is about Ngige. Ngige has to report to somebody, but there's a brick wall. How many times have you seen Ngige and the president in a post, in a photograph? No way. How many of the ministers have inroad to ASU Rock and say, Your Excellency, this is the problem. This is what I think you can do. That is not happening here.
Right. So you have the federal government saying that it would no longer enter into unimplementable agreements, nor succumb to any form of blackmail and intimidation that will make it enter into these agreements. There are many who criticize the Jonathan administration for that 2009 agreement with ASU, the memo, because it's what they keep referring back to, that, you agreed to this, but you haven't implemented it. It is why, repeatedly, ASU has gone back on strike, saying you have failed to honor the 2009 agreement. So do you think this method of sort of saying, okay, so we don't have the money, we cannot uphold this, so we're not going to pretend that we can, rather than agree to, and then months later go on a strike? Do you think there is something to be admired there, or do you think there's insincerity in the government's claims that it doesn't have funds, given the largesse, especially with the Niger Republic?
You have used the right word. Government is not sincere, and it's clear. You see, nobody is blackmailing the government. ASU is just asking for what is their right. The peculiarity of the university environment should be factored. Now, the government is doing some profit gases here and there. You see some people, they just be tweeting and send some very senseless comments and links talking about what Jonathan did in the past. That's in the past. The reality of the situation now is that we cannot afford doling out $1 million to Afghanistan. You know, that's the one you are seeing. You saw the one in Niger Republic. There are many things like that. Government is not behaving, and they are not acting as if there is no money. Until they show us that there is no money, you cannot believe them. There is money.
All right. Let's make this the final story. Maybe we'll have time to squeeze in one or two calls. PDP, more details emerge on Atiku Wike's peace talks. And I'll just take some part of that story. More details have emerged on the peace talks brokered last Wednesday by former Minister of Information, Professor Jerry Ghana, between Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Governor Nyesom Wike. This is just as the camp of the national chairman of the party, Senator Iyorchia Ayo, reportedly given fresh condition under which he would resign to pave the way for a southerner to replace him. While you have talked about how the APC seem brazen about asking for people's votes in 2023, despite all that's happening in the state of security. You talked about, ASU. Last year, we also had an ASU strike that went on, and now we've had it for 6 months again. So the PDP, that is the main opposition party, do not even seem to have their house in order. Do you think this is where the confidence of the APC is coming from?
Well, it's not. I thank God that there are alternatives this time around. You see, the times have changed, and we are not where we used to be. You make reference to June 12th. See, there are going to be some possibilities in the election that is forthcoming that will be premised on the fact that people are just tired of the status quo. The APC represents the status quo. The PDP also represents the status quo, because I do not substantially see any difference. Look at it by now. I know that they are not to be campaigning now, but, both Atiku and Tinubu, you are not really seeing anything. They are still enmeshed in one, crisis or the other, when they should be deepening their engagements here and there.
Right.
I don't know where they are getting their boldness from. I don't know whether they have plans, but whatever it is, the amendment to the electoral law has taken care of some things, and people are more conscious to make sure that votes will count this time around. People have been saying a particular movement is on social media. This is the time that people's eyes are open. They are on social media, yes, but it doesn't mean they don't have their PVC.
All right, let's get to the comments on social media as well as your calls on in reaction to the stories from the pages 0704 400 1067.
Good morning.
Again, good morning.
Good morning.
Right.
Babarire.
I am Babarire. Thank you.
Good morning.
Mr. Ayo, honestly, honor should be given to whom honor is due.
Okay.
Because I heard you say we don't need those flyovers in Abeokuta. No. Because if we were in this state, here no more trust. NMPC Junction, Chapon, and Okilewo, those are, terrible years during those heydays. Traffic gridlock. So the man did what is supposed to be done. Therefore, also in Nigeria, You see, you said it $1,000 to Afghanistan. Then for Niger, normally that is a security assistance for them to assist Nigeria. There's no problem in that. But do you know that in October and November, Nigeria will be hosting a world-class conference, whether meeting or conferences, or whether jamboree? I'll call it a jamboree. Where will they have that money to host that program? Yet they said ASU, they don't have money to settle ASU. I don't want to say this, though. Maybe the people that are the aims of affairs, they don't see education as a priority to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
For your contribution. On WhatsApp, this comment from Engineer Tayo Adeniran says, why are some of our outgoing past governors behaving like the way Amosun, Aregbesola, Okorocha, etc. are doing, despite the fact they are all in the same party? We'll get to the rest of your comment after this call.
Good morning.
Nicholas.
Nicholas, please go ahead.
Sir, God bless you.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, God bless you for the ease with which you are clear and straightforward. When you are in Lagos State and you tar Maryland because it leads to Alausa, and you forget Ikorodu, Iwaya, Ekpe, Badagry, and the tarring, you try to tar those places, eventually stops the flow of potable water to those places. You have not done even the development. Let us be clear that when we speak, the Most High is aware of what we are trying to say. On the issue of ASU, you see, may any man or woman in the next election not occupy a low and high office who lacks appetite for education and whose certificates are questionable. Education is at the root of everything that, from security to innovation to community development. So we should know what we want to defend when we call programs, and know that people who are wiser and more in number are listening. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Nicholas. Have a nice day yourself. Continuing with Engineer Tayo's comment, he says, do you see anything changing if President Buhari is eventually removed, or we should just allow the man to finish his tenure and go in peace, then elect the party and man that we want? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, my name is Sunday. I'm from Kwai Road.
Please go ahead, Sunday.
Good morning, Lola, good morning.
Good morning, Sunday.
Good morning.
Yeah, I have just one thing I want to call attention to. I think the government is coming through to the reality on the ground. There is no money, and that is the truth. Somebody said they give money somewhere. They are talking about salaries that will be coming every month. This was the same blackmail ASU used against Jonathan, and they amputed the man and they gave them that seat. In 2020, they went on 9-month strike over the same matter. Now they are back there. If this government should give what they are asking for, we will be back there in 2 years' time. Because there's no money. We all know that they are borrowing money repeatedly now. And this straightforward. Then again, Ayo, I want to ask you a question. Please try to justify, because you have always been justifying us, why Ogun State University, Lagos State University, and all those state universities are in this ASU wahala. Because after they will have done whatever they want to collect in Abuja, they will still have to come to their governor and talk, discuss here. Good day.
All right.
Thank you,
very
Tunde.
much, Tunde.
Let me race through WhatsApp. Olajuwon says, federal government does not have the money to give ASU, but it gave $1 million to Taliban-led government in Afghanistan and 1.14 billion naira to buy SUVs for Niger Republic. How about this federal government should do the needful? Ilias again says, it is high time our leaders start spending money on reasonable things and morality. When it comes to the issue of education, the government is saying they can't meet up the demand, but a governor spends millions of naira in advance on something I know which cannot be mentioned on air. If we're getting these from the elders, then why are we blaming some of our youths? Is it not bad child that later turns to bad father or mother? Jesuti Shefumi says, Babarere has said it all. This government does not value education anymore. And finally on WhatsApp, Nicholas says, Sims Buhari and Abike Dabiri have not seen the video of the Nigerian killed in Italy.
All right, on Twitter, this one, Temidayo Adayo Moses says the only party that can send APC away is PDP if they don't want APC in Aso Rock anymore. Ayaro Joda said there are alternatives now. IBK of God said, as regards the Aso strike, this administration has been so controversial since their assumption of office. They enacted a law in less than a month regulating the activities of Broadcasting House so as to suit the nefarious plan and project. This is what happened when someone who doesn't have SSC, but the International Examination Body, within a week, manufactured him a result to qualify him for a seat of power. Well, thank you, IBK, for your comment. Temida, again, on the issue of ASU, this present administration is not serious at all. A government can give other country 1.4 billion, but to resolve ASU issue becomes a problem for them. This government failed woefully and they must not return to power come 2023. ASU is okay, let's make this our final call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Ola calling from Abdulawi.
Can you keep it to 30 seconds, Ola?
Yes, on this impeachment thing, let us just forget it. Yeah, just ranting and the whole thing. You see, at the end of the day, they can not impeach. They are just trying to get money into their own different pockets and things like that. And about these Amosun things, Amosun has tried. Unfortunately, he has not been a perfect person when he was there. Totally perfect. Nobody is perfect. Look at model schools he could not do. Look at this and all that. He has done roads. Yes, he should not take these things too far. He has done something, but he should just keep to himself. It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. Tayo Ademola Adeni on Facebook says, Goega is only people in Abeokuta that will listen to Amosun. Izari will not even pass Shion. Well, thank you very much for your contribution.
Well, election will determine that.
Definitely. And the people's power of their PVCs, I'm sure INEC is working on printing your cards, but if you registered last year, whether fresh registration or you did any sort of transfer or you're trying to replace a defaced card, your cards are ready, because I did mine last year and I've picked mine up. My wife did ours last year and she's picked it up. So I'm certain that your cards are ready. So go to the INEC office in the local government where your polling unit falls under and pick up your PVC. And for those who registered this year, I'm sure INEC will continue to update us as to when your cards are ready.
Thank you, Ayar Rojulu, for your time this morning on Panorama.
Thank you for having me.
To everyone who joined us on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter Space, we thank you very much. To everyone who sent in comments on all the platforms, we appreciate everyone who called or tried to call and we couldn't pick.
And to every silent listener who listened
Yes,
but didn't drop a comment, we also appreciate you.
Thank you most sincerely. We'll see you again tomorrow, God's willing, on another edition of this program. My name is Boyega Olaniyi.
My name is Lola Meduteni. Good morning.